Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the XLNC mid-testing grounds. Sorry for the technical delay. It appears that, servers were being a little bit buggy, but we're back. My name is Fennec. Joining me on the desk today is Mitt. We're getting ready to go with our first game of the night. First draft, Oriana Graves bans right off the bat.
I'm not surprised. Graves is so powerful right now. The jungle got, I think it was a couple patches ago, they put some more XP into the jungle, which really started to favor those scaling junglers, the ones that can farm efficiently, and Graves is definitely one of those that can do a lot of work. Oriana, classic control mage in the mid lane, always good to take it out. Aphelios and Volibear, just some great bans. Aphelios, of course, 200 years, very balanced. And then Volibear coming in, he's just been such a bully ever since he got his rework, taking out towers, dives, 100% of the time. So yeah, some brutal champions. I like the bans already, pretty great.
We're going.
Yeah, Zig's the last ban here, so a bit towards Blitz, I would assume. Unless, of course, bot lane Ziggs is making a comeback, which I doubt he is. But the first pick from Ironic. Power picks on the table, currently Trundle, although I don't like him as B1. There's always Set, Ornn available, as well as Senna. Opting into the Karma first pick, so this is an interesting flex. Karma has been seeing a little bit more prevalence in the solo lanes alongside Soraka, although definitely the less common of those two for solo lane picks, most likely support.
You know, if I'm seeing a Karma getting picked up and getting flexed around, I'm thinking to myself, what is the payoff, right? Because Karma is a supportive character, probably going to build an Athene's Ardent. So what is the hypercare that they're looking to run here? That's where my brain is going immediately. And Ezreal gets picked up. I think Ezreal's a great pick. His scaling, he's a very safe scaling champion, and that's kind of where a lot of power is right now in the meta anyways, being able to get to those mid to late game power spikes relatively safely. And Ezreal's always going to do that very, very efficiently. Nunu. Okay.
Yeah. Not a champion we see a lot of. I believe we'll typically see like Gragas or something of that nature. As far as those kind of AP bruiser junglers go, I think Gragas is the more common of them. At the moment, I feel like Nunu not in the best spot right now, but we could just be seeing something more comfort oriented as well. Jinx, though, going to be the pickup here to go into that bottom lane with the Karma. Interesting to see it's the Jinx and not the Caitlyn. I feel like Caitlyn's in a slightly better spot right now, but what do you make of that?
So, like I said earlier, when you pick up a Karma, you're planning, I don't think that Karma's going to go support. I think it's going to go either mid or top. And I was thinking, what's your big payoff? You need a big AD carry because you're losing damage by picking the Karma. So picking up the Jinx is going to, be that damage cover for the Karma pick in a separate lane. And then the Karma is, of course, going to multiply the survivability and power of the Jinx. So I'm thinking that we're actually probably going to see still a bot lane pick, maybe something along the lines of a Braum or a Leona, just something that can frontline for her. She is going to need a frontline. Olaf is a great pickup, fighter mid game. Definitely pairs very nicely into the Nunu. I used to play in and around this scene, like the low diamond plat scene, and one of our Nunu junglers said that Nunu is so useless. The only use he has is making the enemy jungler as useless as he is. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case for Olaf because he's going to be able to duel you if you even think about coming into his jungle. He's probably going to be invading yours quite frequently.
Yeah, Kmantic getting his Victor banned away from him as Syndra has been banned away from Blitz in this second round. So mid lane bans aplenty. Solo lanes still to pick for both these teams. I'm going to assume that's a support Karma until I'm otherwise told. I feel like typically when you take a Karma flex, you take it red side just to hold that off into the end, right? Because Karma needs particular lanes in the solo lanes to actually be effective. But we'll see. Set can be banned away towards Yasuke as that does get the response of the Ornn ban. So C9 World Champ not going to be on the Set or the Ornn, but could be on various others. As they are to pick, I expect the top lane pick here, and for Kmantic to get counter pick in the mid lane, but we'll see. Will be the Wukong in the top lane for C9 World Champ.
And there's the Leona getting hovered right now. That's going to be a good front line for the Jinx. Possibly taking Wukong to the top lane. I feel like that Ornn ban is very, very late, as well as the set ban. I feel like those probably could get picked up earlier. Ooh, Prant? Wait a second.
I could be mid lane brand. The Talon hover.
It's
I think
gotta
they're
be
just
the,
trolling at this
Yeah, I
point.
think they're just trolling. It's gotta be the Leona.
Yeah.
So like you said, in professional play, yes, Karma is usually a red side flex. In these elos, Karma is just, and when I see a Karma, I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna flex it somewhere. You know what I mean? They're emulating, but a lot of these teams, a lot of these coaching staff, they see strategies being on display in the LCS. They see strategies on display at the professional level, but they don't fully understand why and how it works. And on the flip
There's
side,
Liz in the mid lane.
oh, Lissandra, that's very interesting.
Karma's not bad in a Wukong. I will give it that, right? Like, you see the Wukong pick, you can use that as a flex. I think using it as a blue side flex was not punished this draft because they picked the Wukong instead of the mid lane for K-Mantic, right? But K-Mantic wanted the counter pick anyway. Liz is very difficult to counter pick though, so I'll be interested to see what they choose, and it will be the Rumble. Sans Leona, sans Jarvan, just the standalone Rumble going over to either C9 World Champ or K-Mantic. Probably going to be K-Mantic, though.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be K-Mantic. And, I mean, it looks like an attempt at a Wombo combo. A very easy to walk out of Wombo combo. Unless the Wukong gets the most god tier of god tier ultimates. So, we're looking at two different team fights, or two different compositions that are set right here. So, on the left, we have a pretty standard, protect the AD carry type composition with an Olaf support and to get her to the early mid game so that you don't get completely run over. It's a pretty well balanced draft. Your top side is going to be a little bit weaker to the Wukong. Karma really doesn't have a whole lot of kill pressure on the Wukong. She does have good gank support and she does have good staying power in that lane, but she's not going to be threatening him by any means. Really, we're going to be looking at this Blitzcrank. How much work can this Blitzcrank get done? Because if this Jinx cannon gets online, I feel like these team fights are going to go to hell in a handbasket very, very quickly for the God Squad. So,
yeah, and how this Jinx gets online, right? You have an Olaf to get her through that early in mid game. You have Lissandra for your peel. You have Karma there for the support with the Mantra E, as well as nullifying the Wukong spike. Obviously, when you take Karma into these types of matchups, as you said, not going to have a lot of kill pressure, but she has so much staying power against Wukong. He's not going to be able to leave lane. He's not going to be able to really do too much in the way of skirmishing if Yasuke plays it properly. But we'll have to see how that lane goes on. We haven't really touched on the mid matchup, though, so without further ado, let's go into lane matchups, starting in the mid lane, Lissandra versus Rumble.
So, Lissandra versus Rumble. Lissandra, she's got great gank support, great dive support. But her wave clear is pretty lackluster early on compared to the Rumble, so I can see her getting pretty hard pushed in levels 1 through 6. And then level 6, when she has a little bit more kill pressure back onto the Rumble, she might start to swing that tide a little bit back. But in terms of priority, I'm going to give it to the Rumble levels 1 through 6.
Yeah, and Rumble priority with this Nunu could mean we see some sort of play towards the dragon around that 5-minute mark. Nunu, of course, very effective at taking those drakes, but so is Olaf. So moving on to the jungle matchup, it'll be the Nunu versus the Olaf.
So Olaf is kind of one of the premier junglers right now. He has so much dueling power, so much invade potential, and when he gets a blue buff, his clear speed is very, very fast. Nunu's clear speed is quite fast as well, but other than that, his ganks are very telegraphed. He doesn't bring a whole lot in terms of like hard CC unless he lands, a god tier snowball, which is, it can be quite difficult to do. But in a lower skill matchup like we're seeing in this mid division, he might be able to pull off some sneaky stuff. But in terms of just overall, I'm gonna hand it to the Olaf. So Rumble's priority, it's gonna allow them to get river control, but I don't see them going into this Olaf's jungle and getting any real damage done. Just because Lissandra can be there in a heartbeat, Olaf can be there in a heartbeat, wherever they try to invade if they are trying to go in for invades. On the flip side, once level 6 rolls around, I definitely see Lissandra and Olaf setting up invades into the enemy jungle constantly, potentially setting up dives. They have a ton of damage and a ton of lockdown between the two of them to really make something nasty happen. So looking just at the mid lane jungle and duo matchup, I'm going to give the edge over to Iran.
Yeah, and when we look at this kind of mid lane priority, we have to look at the other lanes, put it into context. So bot lane prio, I think, is going to go over to Ironic here. They have the Jinx Leona versus the Ezreal Blitzcrank, but what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. The Rockets are going to definitely be enough clear speed for the Jinx to be able to get prio whenever she wants. Blitzcrank, the only way that this bot lane... Blitzcrank is like the most feast and famine of champions. You really have to get something done. You have to hard stomp, you have to get picks, you have to be very aggressive with that. And I just don't see that happening with a Leona Jinx lane. You get a hook onto the Jinx, sure, your Ezreal can follow up with some damage. Blitzcrank gets the knockup potentially, but the Leona should always be standing in front of that Jinx. And if you hook a Leona, well, you're not really going to get a whole lot done. So it's going to be up to, rotations and roams, which sure, you're going to have priority, but do you really want to go tussling with a Olaf Lissandra in the river? It doesn't seem like a super great idea. So prio is going to go over to Ironic on this blue side, but the Ezreal's going to be able to, one of the hallmarks of Ezreal just as an AD carry is being able to absorb pressure. That's why you pick an Ezreal, is to be able to take pressure and still be able to farm, not be too worried about, getting dove or that you're not going to be able to CS. So I can see the Ezreal being freed up while Blitzcrank, Rumble, and Nunu try to use the early game priority between levels 1 and 5 to try and get something done. But even then, you're hinging a lot of things on those first early levels, being able to unlock your Blitzcrank and having a safe Ezreal farm. Which to me is like, you're lining up so many stars to align, and if none of them do, you're going to get outscaled.
Yeah, we are... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm about done.
We are now loading onto the Rift, so getting ready to go. First game of the night. Sorry for the delay, but alas, that is just how it works sometimes. On the blue side, it is Ironic, Yasuke in the top lane, Dirk 573 in the jungle, Blitz in the mid lane, AGRPB in the AD carry position, and Fire for Life in support.
And on the other side of the Rift, setting up for a disgusting topside invade right now, it is the God Squad with C9 World Champ on the Wukong, XSI playing Nunu, K-Mantic, mid lane Rumble, Beast Lance on the Ezreal, and we got its Wizard, Blitzcrank, looking for some nasty hooks already around the blue side buff, but he's not going to find anything, because it's it's one of those... You ever seen that Spider-Man meme where they like both point at each other, and it's like, hey, kind of what we got going on here.
Yeah, just both invading onto the enemy blue buffs, and Olaf probably going to start on the red buff here, as he did go Hunter's Talisman, as opposed to Stalker's Knife, I think. Is that the name of the... I'm not a jungler.
Oh, I can't even pull up the shop. I'm trying to press P to pull up the shop. I think it is the Stalker's Blade. I believe you're correct.
And we are into the buffs. So Nunu starting blue buff is kind of to be expected, right? Obviously, blue Gromp is a much faster start to his clear, as well as the blue buff mana being really useful. Obviously, the Bite doing very well up against the Gromp camp. We do see the Olaf going for a half clear on the bottom side before making his way to the blue buff. So opting to take that Raptors, he'll hit level 3 on the blue buff instead of on the Gromp. So it'll be interesting to see which lane he decides to gank. First, I'm going to expect the top lane, just because the Karma should be pushed in on the Wukong. Or I should say the Wukong should be pushed in on the Karma. But we'll see how both these junglers decide to path their first ganks.
I mean, it's looking to me like blue side Ironic is looking to get very early prio. Look at Lissandra already getting a very nice ward on the Raptors, so we'll be able to track that Nunu's position. I think it's pretty clear to Ironic that the onus is on God Squad to do something early. Ooh, already going for a bedside invade.
X-Dirk looking his way down the Xi, but the Smite plus the Bite means Xi gets the buff, and that is level 3 to the Nunu before the Olaf, as he opted not to take the Gromp.
And he's going to take the Raptors there, like, basically right in front of Nunu. Nunu's forced to walk down. Looks like he's going to maybe go for a gank. No, he's just going to go grab his Scuttle right now, so it's going to be traded Scuttles. But already Olaf's having a huge advantage. Forces the Nunu away from his red. He does pick up his red, but he's forced away from the chickens. Oh, and Jinx is in a little bit of a pickle down here.
Biggest snowball ever. The hook lands. Nunu will be able to get some damage down as Fire for Life tries to peel. AGR ignited up. Going to pop the Summoner Heal, but the auto from the Ezreal will guarantee the kill. The first blood goes over to Beast Lance.
It looks like Fire for Life is going to be able to walk away with his tail tucked between his legs, but it looks to me in that situation that I think there was a level 3 that came through that they just weren't prepared for. Jinx looks like she got caught out a little bit, mispositioning, and you know, she eats a Blitzcrank hook, Snowball comes in, and boom. This is exactly what we're talking about in terms of God Squad needing to get something done early, and Nunu is already making it happen. So nice gank bot side to secure that first kill. Set the Jinx behind. Jinx is going to be the primary source of damage in the late game.
Whoa! Oh, nice Zenith Blade prediction on the Arcane Shift. Ignite goes up. He pops Summoner Heals. Xi still able to get the kill on the Fire for Life as Nunu had not gone back to jungling. Now it's Wizard making his way forward on to AGRPB. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Yasuke doing Karma things. Hitting them Mantra Ws and them Grasp procs, actually going for the Mantra Qs instead of Mantra Ws, so... Still.
So, you know, I think early on here we can already see, even though we're only about 5 minutes into the game, we can see the difference an experienced team has versus an inexperienced team. So it looks to me like Ironic has done their homework, right? They've looked at the books, they know what the meta is, they came in with a composition that they wanted to execute. But here we see God Squad, a more experienced team, actually pulling through on the execution, being able to, you know, be very streamlined in their purpose and make that happen. Whereas it seems to me like the bot lane, at least AGPR and Fire for Life, they aren't quite sure.
Oh, Wizard with a nice hook back into the knock-up. That was too close for comfort.
Yeah, really close. And I mean, if AGR keeps eating these hooks, it's going to be very, very nasty. I mean, like we said in Champ Select, the whole point of this composition is to get this Jinx late game online. And the more that she gets chunked out, the more that she dies in lane, the more experience she's missing out, the more gold she's missing out on. And the more delayed that this Jinx is, the longer it takes for Ironic to come online, which gives God Squad a lot more breathing room to do what they want to do. And this Ezreal's already got a kill. He's already up about 10 CS. At only the 5-minute mark, and that's exactly where you want to be if you are this God Squad line.
If he had Klepto, he'd be even further ahead right now. But...
God, don't remind me of that rune.
I mean, Grasp of the Undying on Karma reminds me of Klepto Karma. You know?
You know, you're getting something out of your auto attack, yeah? I can see it.
You're getting health. Yasuke dashing in, or I should say, World Champ dashing in on Yasuke, but nice W forcing the dash out. Wizard had to get a hook, but it's not on the carry, so no further engagement from Beast Lance. But Yasuke actually grabbing lane priority on this Wukong, not something I would expect to see with the Karma lane. You don't typically think of this lane as oppressive. Karma's typically a weak side top laner, so interesting to see this consistent harassing of C9 World Champion lane.
You know, we see that XSI has been putting a lot of his attention into this bot side jungle. It's just bot quadrant of the map completely. So Yasuke has just been able to kind of free poke with those auto attacks, you know, put the tether down as soon as the Wukong jumps in and just kind of walk away every single time. So he's going to get the better end of these trades consistently, which is going to make C9 World Champ think twice about just jumping in. Until XSI makes his presence known in this top lane, I wouldn't be surprised to see just, you know, with level 6 coming through for World Champ, there's a little bit more kill pressure onto Yasuke. He's going to have to be a little bit more careful now, especially if he wastes his mantra on the wave like that. But I'm not surprised to see him, you know, taking some form of priority. Really, the thing that's supposed to keep him in check in this melee to range matchup is the jungler presence. Because if XSI comes up there, you know, I would say almost any other jungler besides Nunu, it's a very scary prospect for Yasuke. But you know, he's taking advantage of his situation and he's getting a lead for himself, which I can appreciate. Well done, young sir.
Yeah, going for the Iceborne Gauntlet start too, so a little bit less supportive, going for that kind of hybrid tank style. Karma, XSI, and his Wizard though. Going to go ahead and pick up the first dragon of the game. Will be the Ocean Drake. Next one will be Infernal, so either the Mountain or the Cloud Soul this game.
Yeah, he's
have to be really careful about that.
He's going to be trading out his topside jungle for that, and it looks like Dark is looking to make a play on this topside right now. Oh, the hook comes through.
Wizard, though, finds way on AGR. Arcane shift forward, flash, and Beast Lance picks up the kill. Zenith Blade onto the Ezreal, but he's not under tower. That's another one going on to Beast Lance.
It looks like the gang top also fizzled out. C9 World Champ able to get away without even burning his flash. So very nice stuff going over to the side of God Squad. And Beast Lance is looking absolutely beastly right now. 2-0 with a, you know, starting to get towards that 20 CS lead. You know, the lead is getting bigger over time, which is something you have to be very concerned about if you are this Jinx, Mr. AGR. He's going to have to do... honestly, I think he just needs to do less.
Oh, XSI and Rumble already here. Equalizer down onto Yasuke. He will end up falling to the Nunu ultimate. XSI picks up the kill. Meanwhile, it's Wizard flashing back, but he will end up getting a hook now. Fire for life. Force a flash over the wall as Beast Lance tries to chase on the AGR. AGR only level 5 as X-Dark 573 just picks up a Scuttle Crab for his troubles. Nice dive on that top lane against the Karma as K-Mantic makes his way away from the Olaf, who ults in the mid lane.
Very nice cleanse from K-Mantic. I mean, a nice heads up just to take the cleanse, knowing you're going to the Lissandra matchup.
Oh,
but here's
C9 root up by Blitz. Here comes its Wizard, though. Root lands from the Nunu. Flashback into the Ice Path, but they get the knock up onto X-Dark. He will flash out of that fight and stay alive. But this early game is going well in God Squad's favor.
Oh.
And Beast Lance, meanwhile, picks it up with a True Shot Barrage.
You know, question mark pings coming out for Ironic, because they're like, what just happened to me? But you know, we're just seeing execution. Really, and it's coming down a lot to this bot lane, this Ironic bot lane. Oh jeez.
Oh, AGR chunked out so low. XSI's here. They want to look for a dive, but they don't have the minions.
So I really think the issue that Ironic is having right now is they came in with a game plan, very, very solid, very, very clear. But they're playing a completely different style. You know, you've got Jinx contesting every single wave, standing around waiting to get hooked by the Blitzcrank. And not just, you know, accept your lot in life right now, Jinx. You know, you're going to get pushed in. You're going, every single time that a wave thins out, Blitzcrank is going to come running at you, you know, guns blazing. So you just have to accept your lot in life, let them push into you, maybe freeze by your tower, farm under tower. Just get as much, soak as much farm and XP as you possibly can. Safely. You know, don't play halfway through the lane anymore. That ship has long since sailed for you, unfortunately. So now you're playing straight damage control, and honestly, at this point, it might even be too late. As Beast Lance is looking at almost a 20 CS lead right now, 3-0. He's finished his Manamune. He's got his Sheen item going. If I were him, I'd probably just go straight into Triforce because really there's no threat to him at all. Just get that damage online and really go to town, push that advantage. And honestly, the Blitzcrank is pretty much freed up to roam because Beast Lance is fine to 2v1 right now and start spreading the wealth around.
Yeah.
God Squad are doing amazing stuff in this early game.
Meanwhile, Yasuke currently building in towards the Iceborne Gauntlet. I'd like to point out that Yasuke pretty much exclusively uses Mantra Q as far as mantras go. It's Wizard looking for the hook, not going to find it. But he almost exclusively uses Mantra Q, which I feel like can be a bit of a trap if you're going for tank Karma as the knockup lands onto Fire for Life. TP'd back out as the Nunu pops the ultimate. Equalizer, though, gets on to 2 as Blitz tries to get the damage on XSI. He will go down. Shutdown goes over to the Olaf as Wukong pops the ultimate. Now, Dirk trying to find his way to Mantic. Double kill. He gets knocked up with the second proc of World Champ's ultimate. Now the follow-up damage is almost there. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to hit, but the triple kill still lands on the Axe. And X-Dark 573 picks up 3 for his team.
Yeah, finally a breath of life from Ironic. They really needed those 3 kills. Starting to shift the gold back to about a 1k gold lead as opposed to, I believe it was 2 or 3 earlier. But they really, really needed that. Ezreal didn't go down. That's the one person that you really want to get the shutdown off of. He's still only 3-0. He didn't manage to pick up any kills in that fight.
They backed off the
Dark
dragon.
kind of powerful. Another dragon. 2 dragons now, right?
Yeah, this is getting beautifully punished from God Squad.
Yeah, the team fight victory, but you still, you know, you lose the team fight, but still get to take a dragon because your Ezreal's still alive and your Nunu's relatively healthy. And sure, Dark was able to pick up 3 kills there, but he went very, very low, so he has to recall, concede a dragon. And it looks like we are going to see a Mountain Soul, which isn't terribly exciting, to be honest.
What, you don't like defensive stats and shielding? You know? With a pretty small snowball at the moment, but that will eventually become the biggest snowball ever, is the flash from Fire for Life is just there to eat up the snowball and purify the ADC. Beastlance picks up the kill, goes on a rampage, but it's better than AGR dying.
Yeah, slightly. I mean, AGR is going to have to recall anyway. He's probably going to lose about a wave and a half here.
Yes, okay. Lands the root. But yeah, once again, almost exclusively using Mantra Q. And I know in this lane you don't really need to use Mantra W, but I feel like it's a trap that a lot of people who build tank karma go into, where they just end up using Mantra Q almost exclusively and not... And like, even after they build Spirit Visage, they just don't take advantage of how broken Mantra W is.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, but I guess if I were to explain it, I think Yasuke's not really feeling the pressure a whole lot from C9 World Champ right now, so you know, he's content to just keep Mantra queuing the wave, keep you pushed in. He's established a pretty healthy CS lead for himself, he's about 25 gold up on his opponent there, so...
Oh, here comes Nunu. On the Fire for Life, he will flash.
Flash only get you so far, Fire for Life. Both flashes down on the bot lanes right now. They're getting, you know...
Oh, Zenith Blade lands on its wizard, but the knockup's already there. Zap. Gonna do a bit of damage, but Beastlance and Nunu are around.
Yeah, I mean, if I were Iconic right now, I would try to just get a freeze going as close as...
X-Dark 573 here with the Lissandra. C9 World Champ. Gonna pop the Cyclone. He is rooted up. And X-Dark 573 picks up his 4th kill of the game. That's 4 in a row. As Red Scout gets channeled in the top lane.
I mean, that's good. Pulling this pressure towards the top side of the map, pulling the attention to the top side of the map, you're going to draw resources up here, which gives your Jinx some time to farm up unless she recalls right now. A little bit of miscommunication, probably. If you're going to pop a Herald up top, you're going to pull people. As we can see, the map is just, you know, you can see red swarming
here.
Right now.
Caught up by the W, but he is going to pop the ulti, and he will go down, but he still ends up feeding over to the Ezreal.
A
Despite
shutdown.
the consume heal.
750 going in the bank.
Yeah, consume heal, not enough to get away from the Olaf, but he still... sorry, that was a Conqueror proc, but he still ended up going down to Beastlance, so...
Yeah,
very nice shutdown.
Yeah, that's... If you're Beastlance, you got to be ecstatic about how this game is going right now. His gold lead is tremendous. I'm just going to look at it real quick. Oh my god, he's looking at 3k over. That's an entire item over the AD carry on Ezreal, who's also a pretty great late game scaling AD carry. He's already hit most of his mid game power spikes. Almost got that Triforce done. It's about halfway completed. If he spends the money that he has in the bank right now, he'll grab the Zeal. If he gets this tower, I believe that's Triforce completely done. Not Zeal, I'm sorry, Phage. But yeah, that's disgusting right now. This Ezreal is going to be such a huge thorn in the side of Ironic, and honestly he's just leaps and bounds ahead of Jinx right now, AGR on the Jinx. So it's going to be an uphill battle every single team fight. You know, it's going to be less of an uphill battle and more of a Pickett's charge type situation we're going to see in these team fights. Pretty much hopeless. Unless, you know, maybe some magic happens. There are, you know, 4 kills on Dark. He's got a good bit of damage to himself. but I just don't see him being able to get onto the Ezreal and really stick to him when Ezreal's, you know, he's gonna have shift, he's gonna have Triforce down, he's gonna be doing so much damage back onto this Olaf. Olaf doesn't have a whole lot of defensive stats. It's really just gonna be a DPS check, and I think that Beastlance is gonna win that.
I mean, you have other ways to stick to the Ezreal, but your Lissandra isn't going to be an engaged Lissandra this game. He has to peel for the Karma, or not for the Karma, for the Jinx, and pretty much the same thing with the Karma. Karma is fairly good at sticking to Ezreal, but it's going to be very difficult in these fights. Fire for Life, though, gets caught up by the biggest snowball ever into the new ultimate. Will pop the Zenith Blade, and the Solar Flare gets a 3-man stun as this Wizard gets caught in the Forest Fire, but a huge Equalizer goes down onto all the members of the blue side, and the Cyclone onto Yasuke. Triple kill for the Ezreal. Knock up lands. Yasuke in a flash. Stay alive for the time being, but it's a 4-4-2 in favor of God Squad, and they're going to pick up the Mountain Dragon.
Beastlance burns both summoners in that fight to stay alive. He does catch the ultimate from Leona, the Solar Flare, as well as several... oh my goodness.
Oh!
That's 4 kills for himself over the course of that fight. Beastlance is massive right now. 700 gold shutdown. He's got 2 items. He's doing so much damage right now. And with summoners missing, you know, Olaf burns his flash as well in that fight. Lissandra burning her flash to try and get in there. He did burn both of his summoners, so he's a little bit more vulnerable right now. But he's only as vulnerable as they can stick to him. And their sticking power has gone away a substantial bit. He's still going to have Arcane Shift to be able to reposition. So, you know, getting this Ezreal, that was your best chance to get the Ezreal. They got him down to maybe like 100, 200 HP and weren't able to seal the deal. But now I can just see Beastlance running away with this game. It's going to be so hard to get to him. And you have to get to him because his damage is just enormous. You can't fall back and say, we're going to peel this Jinx. She's a 1-3 Jinx who's only got an Infinity yet. She doesn't have her Runaan's Hurricane yet. So her damage is going to be complete paltry compared to Beastlance. So the only solution here for Ironic is to get on Beastlance and burst him down in one quick combo, which is going to come down to vision control, which is going to be so hard to get just because this Blitzcrank is a terror when it comes to getting vision and controlling that vision. So honestly, Ironic is hoping for a massive mistake here. It only looks like a 2k gold lead, but where that gold is landed, who is sitting on that gold lead, matters way more than the actual numerical value right now. Because that weight shifts so heavily when it's such a disparity between the AD carries, which were going to be the story of this game from Champion Select.
Yeah, and Beastlance completed the Trinity Force, moving on to the not the Guinsoo's, the Blade of the Ruined King, 3rd item. Meanwhile, the Jinx still only on the IE, going to go into the Runaan's Hurricane, of course. As we take a look at the other items on the map, interestingly, the Karma going into that Spirit Visage, so going for the tank build, right? I hope to see more use of the Mantra W once the Spirit Visage is completed, but we'll see how Yasuke decides to build that.
You know, I find it very interesting that the Karma is actually electing to go into the Spirit Visage when Ezreal's going to be all the damage, but oh my goodness gracious, Blitz is in a lot of trouble.
Blitz is gone.
Play a song.
60 Ice Path.
Ooh. Aftershock keeps
Rooted up, Nunu Ultimate. Gonna pop the self ulti. Consume, C9 World Champ dashes forward and picks up the kill.
I mean, that's a lot of people committed to this bot lane, and it's gonna get answered by mid lane turret going down. I feel like that's a huge overcommit for just 1 kill on an 0-1 Lissandra. Really big overchase. I think that's just sending way too many members. I mean, they even left the Baron undefended. So that could have potentially been a pretty big blunder for the side of God Squad, but they are going to lose a mid lane tower. That's it for now, but if they keep, you know, devoting 4 members just to chase down a single Lissandra, the gold might start to equalize on the map.
I think it was more an inaccuracy, to use the chess lingo myself.
I love it.
I'm sorry.
You're good. I love it. The good old chess.
Mantic. Slowed up by the Zap, Solar Flare hits on. Here comes the Blitz, and the huge ultimate comes out from C9 World Champ, and he's not able to get much more. Olaf already with the double kill onto the Wukong XSI. The next one to fall. This Wizard gets the kill on the Yasuke. Beastlance, though, forced Arcane Shift out of the fight as the heals come through, and now AGRPB gets killed, and a Wizard's shut down onto the Ezreal. from the Jinx. That's 700 bonus gold, 1,000 gold total, and that's going to be the Baron going over to Ironic.
Massive wombo combo coming out from Ironic, getting the Lissandra to root up multiple members, and it looks like they're even going to go for this Baron right now, and I don't see any reason why they can't have it. Delicious, delicious, nutritious. Jinx getting the shutdown on the Ezreal, picking up 3 kills for herself in one team fight, and suddenly she becomes a threat. It's beautiful. You gotta love it. So now that the gold has kind of shifted a little bit back towards the Jinx, she's still about 3k down, which is terrifying. But she's gonna be able to go home, get a rune into her, and have even more team fight damage. So when this Lissandra drops her CC down, that team fight damage is going to absolutely be disgusting. But like we saw, one thing that I want to point out in that last team fight, we saw Beastlance. I think he kind of started to rest on his laurels, get a little too comfortable there, because he was standing in that bush and he wasn't kiting back. He was just standing there saying, "Come on!" And oh my gosh, did Ironic come on? They just ran him down, locked him up.
Oh, the hook lands. Bye-bye, Fire for Life. Pops Solar Flare. And then Xenoblade. He actually stays alive for the time being as Nunu pops the ultimate. X-Dark's already here. This is a disaster for World Champ and the squad. God Squad lose 2, and they only trade for the Leona. The Mountain Dragon respawns. This is Soul Point, and it ain't going over to the God Squad. K-Mantic on the side. Has the equalizer. Its Wizard has the hook. Equalizer goes down, but it still will go over to the side of Ironic. Flash forward, gets the root. K-Mantic gonna flash out of that one. Takes the blast cone over. Will stay alive for the time being. Beastlance and Its Wizard, though, gonna try to find his way onto Yasuke. But X-Dark's already there and being very smart with his positioning.
Whew! Oh my goodness. So let's talk about Blitzcrank hooks for half a second here. A Blitzcrank hook is only as good as the speed in which you can blow up the person that you hook. You can, you know, write that down in the math books for me, because that is the formula there. And there was nobody to follow up. There was some damage, but with Leona popping a W and an Aftershock, and she's already got a good bit of armor on her, it's going to take forever for her to go down. Unless Beastlance is there, she's not going to melt in any timely fashion. And so committing those resources onto the Leona allows Lissandra to, do the Frozen Passage in, I think it's called, and just get the lockdown, get the damage going. The Jinx is able to get in there with the rockets. The team was just a way more coordinated coming out of base than God Squad was, and they paid the price.
Yeah, now we look at, late game scaling on the Ezreal. But the Jinx is starting to come online now. Yeah. Ezreal on 3 items, Jinx on 2.5. There's still some ground to cover, but it's much lower now. Still, oh my god, almost 3k up on the Ezreal. But it wouldn't seem that way when you look at this Olaf and the Jinx just putting out so much damage in these fights.
Yeah, I'm watching, combined with the solar, the passive from Leona, the sunlight passive, when one Olaf Q just rakes across a team that's been sunlighted and then rooted up by the Lissandra, it does so much damage you really don't expect it. And then the Jinx can now come in with Runan Hurricanes, Infinity Edge Rockets, and the team fight damage is going to be astronomical. And for the first time in about 20 minutes, the gold lead has actually shifted in favor of Ironic. Ironic's team fight scaling composition is starting to come online.
XSI caught out by the Zappers, or Flame Chompers, I should say. Fire for Life, though, positioning a little bit aggressively, looking for a Solar Flare. Beastlance will Arcane Shift out of that one, though, as XSI pops the snowballs and takes his own biggest snowball ever to safety. Here comes the Glacial Patho. They got onto K-Mantic. The hook lands, but it is on to Blitz, who's gonna go ahead and pop the Zonias as the Nunu gets the shutdown onto the Olaf. It doesn't even matter as the double kill comes through for the support. There will be a 3-for-1 once again in favor of Ironic. They're gonna keep pushing.
Yeah, AGR completely unthreatened that fight. Oh, this push is gonna continue. Wait, Fire for Life? Okay, he's gonna be okay.
No, he wasn't
took a little bit
of tower. It looked like it.
Oh, he wasn't?
No, he wasn't.
Wow, it really looked like he was about to get.
That was a weird animation, but yeah. He was not tanking tower. He didn't pull out a range forward swap dagger to a minion.
Very interesting. Oh, the chase is coming through. Flash. Ooh, reaction time.
AGR flashing out of the way of the hook, but he still gets caught out by Beastlance. As far as the QW damage goes.
Yeah, he's gonna take a good little, slap on the wrist as he walks his way out, but I think they are going to be able to get out of here. There's going to be a big vacuum on the map for a couple seconds here. Opportunity for God Squad to maybe come in and get some vision since there are no global objectives up. Now is the perfect time to go into the jungle and grab vision, but it looks like Wizard is just going to recall.
A minute 30 seconds for both major neutral objectives. Of course, it is Soul Point for God Squad, so they're probably going to move towards this dragon instead of the Baron. As we see, Athene's Unholy Grail gets picked up by Yasuke, so Spirit Visage now going to help even without the Mantra W. Although still no completed boots, I would like to see Sorks actually instead of Tabi's. There isn't a lot of right-click damage coming out from Beast Lance. It's mostly ability-focused attack damage or physical damage. So we'll see if they opt for the Sorks or
I do
what
believe
have
the
you.
Tabi does do the 10% off the arcane, the Mystic Shots, because I believe the Mystic Shots are considered auto attacks in terms of proccing on hit. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me.
They proc on hit effects, but I don't know if proccing on hits is requisite for Tabi's or not.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. It's definitely
TB
something
being channeled.
Researching.
Fire for life. Looking on to God Squad. 20 seconds until the dragon spawns. Blitz looking for a flank. Gets the Entomb down on a Beast Lance. In with the WE, but here comes the Equalizer. Does a bit of damage as the C9 World Champ gets taken out super low. Shutdown Lanzo as the Ezreal falls. Dirk gonna do a lot of damage. He stays alive with the Conqueror healing. And his passive, that's a triple kill for X-Dark. 573 as AGRPB picks up the kill on the Nunu, and it's the Quadra to finish out the fight. X-Dark 573 and company going to push into the red side base. They might be able to end here.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything quite as terrifying as a mantra'd up Olaf that is now 12-4, just bum rushing your back line. Yeah, no amount of kiting is going to save Beast Lance. I think this is going to be the game right here. Spawners aren't going to be up in time.
Ironic take the first game. What a comeback.
Yeah, hell of a comeback. I think at one point Beast Lance was 9-0. And, I mean, a few blunders here and there. That one shutdown where Beast Lance was just injudicious with his positioning ends up costing them the entire game in the long haul. Well played by Ironic, keeping their heads on, knowing their win condition, and playing to it. But in the future, I would like to see coaching staff and just the organizational support remind them, hey, we're a late game scaling composition. We want to farm early on. We don't want to fight. We want to do whatever we can do to get as much farm as possible. Because if they hadn't been down 3k gold and 80 carries at the 11-minute mark, this game could have accelerated out to that level 10 minutes early.
Regardless, though, Ironic, really well played there. They will end up starting the night out 1-0 as we get ready to go for the second round of the night. Of course, 3 games tonight as we take a look to see. Glacial Esports did take the win there, so I do believe the next stream game will be either between Glacial Esports and World Class Outlaws or Ironic and Glacial, but we'll see how the bracket matches up. We will see you after the break, though. We'll be back in a few minutes.